Welcome to Fit for the Soul. My name is Phyllis. I am a fitness and yoga coach and a registered nurse. And I got my girl,
Rochelle Ceballos, woo woo, and I am a speaker and author, and I am passionate about helping people find their purpose and share it with the world. So today we have a very special guest, and I am so excited to share this special guest with you guys. I have known him for like 1.2 years. We met in the cool place of social media where all the cool kids meet, right? And he is such a blessing to this world. He is a transformational speaker, and he is the owner and operator of Lionheart Motivation Factory and Consulting Company. So Lionheart is here on the show.
Hey. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Queens? I appreciate you for having me. Thank you so much. It is an honor, a blessing, and just the fact that I know you two Queens, it's going to continue to just bring abundance in everything that we do. And I just appreciate you so much, Queens. Thank you so much. It's an honor. Seriously. I'm ready. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too.
Oh yeah.
Super pumped. We're going to start this off with some icebreaker questions.
Awesome.
You ready for that?
I hope so. We'll find out here in a second.
Phyllis, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to go first. So, Lionheart, tell us the most embarrassing moment ever. The most embarrassing moment you've ever experienced.
Most embarrassing moment ever. Wow. Wow. Can I have like a hot second to think about
No.
I feel like I have a lot. I feel, you ever feel like you have a lot of embarrassing moments?
Oh,
that
yeah.
Like categorize, prioritize. I think the most embarrassing moment that I can actually recall right now is when I was a kid. I think I might have been like 13 or 14, so I was definitely aware. I did. There's no almost. I got into the wrong car with the wrong family after leaving the park.
No.
And,
no way.
I got in the car with them, about to put on my seatbelt, and I look up, I'm like, and they're
wow.
at me, it's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, and I just started taking off the seat. I was like, yeah, I think that was the most embarrassing moment that I can recall at an early age in childhood. And I just remember getting out the car like, what just happened? Like, So yeah, one of those things. But yeah, that's I would have to say that's one of my most embarrassing moments. Definitely It's definitely up there.
That's definitely up there. Like, I've never heard that one before, so that's a new one for me.
Either.
Yep.
So my question is, if you had to be handcuffed to one person for a year, who would it be?
Wow. Hold on, what's the circumstances? Like, you got to go a little bit in detail. Like, are we about to, is it like a Saw, interaction where,
you're just like right now, that person's going to be right next to you, handcuffed. When you go to Colombia, they're with you too.
Okay. All right. Will Smith.
Will Smith. I like that.
Yeah. Handcuffed to Will Smith.
And why?
Like, hey man, I need a mentor, bro. You're already here. Like,
You're already here.
But Lionheart, why would you pick Will Smith? What is it about him?
Man, Will Smith has a certain amount of enlightenment that I've always, found myself, not also within myself, but the way he thinks, I see a lot of similarities, but I also see that he's gone through a process of what called life, and he's continued to, persevere. He's continued to push himself and always push the envelope. And I look forward to, I know I'm going to meet him one day, but I look forward to just, I hope not under handcuff circumstances.
Right.
I feel like he's definitely an inspirational figure that everyone should be tapped into at some point in time. He's a legend, straight up. He's a legend. And I like to emulate him as much as possible, but I also like to, I'm still Lionheart Laquinn. So, hey, let's work.
Right. Absolutely. The world needs what you got. So I think it's funny that you brought that up, that you love that about Will Smith, because that's one of the reasons why we wanted you on this podcast, is because you are someone who's like gone through the process and you're still a light, and you're very much an inspirational figure. So
thank you.
Share with us a little bit about like just the process of becoming an inspirational figure. Like, were you always like this?
Man, that is a great question. I do believe I was always an inspirational figure to some level. Even growing up, I know I was always an upbeat, positive kid. Things happen time to time, but I noticed I never let things hold me back. Like, I remember even getting whoopings as a kid, right? And then, like, right after that whooping, I would go to the mirror and go smile, because I knew if I could still smile, I was okay. You know, and that started at a very young age. No one ever told me to do that. That was just something that I did to make sure that I was always okay. And, you know, through adversity in life, I kind of definitely took that, well, not kind of, I took that same mindset with me and I grew upon it. And for the most part, I would have to say is how you look at adversity, because we're all going to face adversity. We all have a story, but I really feel like it's the point where you decide what you're going to do next and how you're going to feel during the adversity that makes it, you know, where you can get some exponential growth in there,
right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Wow. And one of the things that I love about you, Lionheart, I mean, I don't even know you like that. I know you through Rochelle, and I've seen your page and just the energy that I see with you interacting with your peeps, your page, and all of that. And then I see a lot of acronyms, a lot of acronyms, and a lot of inspirational quotes and messages. Could you tell me an acronym that just means a lot to you, and what does it mean?
So, in a nutshell, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that question. So I have a few different grinds, right? 7 it's in total, but basically every day has a grind. So there's Motivation Monday, Tenacity Tuesday, Wise Wednesdays, Testimony Thursdays, Fired Up Fridays, Serenity Saturdays, and then last is Soul Search Sundays, right? And so every grind, it emulates something that I have found in myself that has really pushed me to keep going. My favorite is Tenacity Tuesdays grind, Get Real, I'm Never Done. And that kind of puts me in the mind state where I'm not going to stop until I get what I came for. I'm not going to stop until the job is done, 100% mission accomplishment or nothing else. And that's basically the mindset that I keep when, you know, that's what this whole shirt is about. That's what basically what I run off of, you know? And yeah, I hope that. Thank you for
Woo! Representing. Where's my shirt? No, I need to get. I should have made my early order.
All good. We'll get to it. You know, you can't rush greatness, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, does that answer your question though?
Yeah, that answers it. And one of the things that I love is just like these little acronyms are just easy to follow, and you have it for every day of the week.
Uh-oh. Phyllis, you went on mute. Oh, we unmuted right here.
You paused yourself, Phyllis. You muted yourself.
Put that together from
Hold on.
Wait. Phyllis.
Edit.
Did you put that together from experience, or is it more just of something you just like, you know what, this is what this is going to stand for, and this is what it's about? Or does these acronyms mean a lot more than that?
So you did black out for like the first like 10 seconds of that question, but if I get it right, are you asking me what the acronyms mean to me on a personal level, or was I just doing this for like a marketing gimmick? Is that what you're asking me?
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah. You got it.
I'm not a gimmick type person. I literally believe, because I came from the process and I understand the process, I truly believe the fact that I wasn't always like this, anyone can adopt certain principles to get to that next level of growth, get to that next level of who they need to become. And these grind acronyms are basically constant reminders where, hey, at the end of the day or beginning of the day, you read this acronym, and that's something that you can start to work on just that day. And if you do it day 1 through 7, sooner or later, all these acronyms are going to come into one. And then every day you're living all these acronyms at once, you know, or there's something that might pop up that reminds you of this acronym. There might, you know, so that's basically what I wanted to do, to give people steps. So like people don't think that, oh, like how'd he's always been this way. I have not always been this way. You know, I didn't have much guidance growing up, and I feel like not only my book inspired the 7-figure grind, but just, you know, I'm a vessel to continue to give people that knowledge, that value, those tangible tools to walk away with. And yeah, so it's definitely not a gimmick. Definitely not a gimmick. This is part of my life, and I want to continue to spread this message around the world, straight up.
So one thing that I really admire about you is that, especially knowing you in 2018, our special year,
right?
Ooh, that, you know, I know that like the past year or so hasn't been easy for you. There has been some struggles that have come up in your life. And it's like, if people don't know you on a personal level, although you do share a lot, how do you keep going? How do you continue to be a light even when life seems unfair? Do you mind sharing that?
All right. Definitely not. So, as you know, Rochelle, and I'm not sure if you know, Phyllis, but I lost my brother in October in a series of tragic events. Long story short, to kind of put it in a nutshell, he accidentally killed his friend, accidentally, you know, gunplay, and they, you know, just kids not being aware of how to use guns properly. You know, being in the Marine Corps, he never got that training. And so he ended up killing his friend and then taking his life the next day out of remorse. And, just one of those tragic situations at a very young age. He was only 18. And I can talk about it now. And I just remember the way how I guess I'm still not over it, but I understand what this has done, because there's so much beauty in darkness. And I look forward to that beauty in the darkness. So the first thing I guess that I do to answer your question is I allow myself to feel. I allow myself to feel everything on a very, very deep level. However, wherever it takes me, I just go there. You know, I'm not trying to fight nothing. But I spent years fighting no emotions. So the fact that I'm able to do that now is kind of, you know, crazy to me, thinking about how I used to be. And so after I go through the process of feeling everything, I understand the power of testimony. I write about it in my book. And I just understand that it would almost be selfish for me to be who I am and not share this process with the world, because I really want people to understand, no matter what, you cannot be broken. If you choose not to be broken, you don't have to be broken. You can go through something and not lash out at people. You can go through something deep and still be able to have that light to still smile, you know? And I feel like that is valuable on so many levels. And I would like a lot of people to start adopting that same mindset, or mentality rather, because mindsets are temporary. Mentalities are more of a lifestyle kind of aspect, you know?
And it seems like men, I don't know this, I'm stereotyping men, I will say this.
Okay.
You know, it's like, you always hear how they won't tap into their emotion.
Right.
And I think it's so cool that you're open with it. You're open with it. And you could be an example for other men that you can still be a man. Like, if you guys, some of you guys don't know, but Lionheart is a boxer as well. Like, he's not just any man, he's like a real man, right? But he tries, you know? So go ahead, Lionheart.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm a professional boxer, United States Marine, and all this. And all these things are telling you not to show emotion. Even when you're fighting in the ring, they say, hey, if you get hit and you're feeling something, don't show it on your face, right? In the Marine Corps, excuse my French, but, you know, when you are going through something, they say, hey, killer, grab a straw, suck it the fuck up. That's literally what they tell you, you know? And even growing up, your friends, your peers, you know, people who are around you, they don't necessarily have an environment conducive of showing your feelings. It's not something that's natural, because you know, that's just society's perception in general. You know, most men are supposed to be strong, but I understand now that vulnerability has strength as well. There's so much strength within vulnerability. When you show who you really are and you're still able to keep moving forward and keep going, and no matter what, you're not going to stop. There's so much strength in that as well too. And I just feel like there's that side that I rather cling to, because I understand that, like I said, I'm a vessel, and I want everybody to understand they can be a vessel too. I talk a lot about being the 1% that inspires the other 99. That's not saying like, oh, only 1% of us can do that. That's literally saying if you choose to be the 1% that are going to inspire the other 99, you can do that every day. You know, it's a choice. It's not, I'm no enigma. I'm no flashing light that just came out of, you know, like, yeah. It's a process. It's a process. That's a great observation, Queen. Thank you.
Yeah, you know.
So with vulnerability, I mean, that's a huge thing. And with men, it's like, you know what, I want to show that side of me. I don't want to do this. I want to keep it to myself. But I mean, like, it wasn't like you woke up one day and say, I'm going to be vulnerable.
Right.
It wasn't like you woke up one day and say you wanted to be vulnerable, right? So it was like, you know what came into you and said, you know what, there's another side of me that I need to be to my peers, to the people that I'm inspiring, and show some type of transparency. So how did that all come about with your whole vulnerability aspect?
That is a great question, Queen. Great question. Well, I feel like it's a numerous. There's a lot of situations that come into play with this. A lot of situations. Honestly, I feel like it's the fact that time after time after time, me blocking off my emotions, me pushing people out, or when people would ask how I'm doing, I'd be like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. You know, you have that chest built up mentality. Like, you know, you walk around like this and you think there's strength in that. But when it gets to the point when no one's around and, you know, you're feeling some kind of way on the inside and, you know, you're in this dark corner, this dark place in life, and you don't know what's next, right? That's where you have to decide. You literally have to decide, do you want to keep feeling this way or do you want to change? And after a while, it gets to the point like, man, I don't want to feel this way anymore. You know, I don't want to feel like I'm holding back stuff. I don't want to, I see what it's doing for me. It's not serving me. That's what it's not doing. It's not serving me. So I understood that after a while, I guess I want to say it was maybe age like 23, 24, around that age where I was like, okay, this is the portion of your life where you need to be tapping into your feelings if you want a certain amount of development, right? If you want to work on yourself on the inside, if you want to work on yourself mentally, spiritually, mind, body, spirit, right? If you really want to work on yourself, you have to get to the point where you can open up to anyone because it's going to allow you to be relatable. It's going to allow you to help others who are going through the same situation. Like I said, the power of testimony, it's so real, you know? Does that answer your question for you?
Yes. Yes, it
You're
does.
amazing.
So, I know, right?
I like,
you know what? And it looks like, Lionheart, you developed yourself, because it takes a lot of self-awareness to say, you know what, I need to change. I need to take action. Even with my experience, just doing something about my health, it's like, you got to wake up one day and say, you know what, I can't do this again. I can't keep doing this over and over. Something has to give. So, yeah, awesome.
And I love what we talked about the other day, Lionheart, how let's correct what we're doing before it gets to the worst spot. I can't say it right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Instead of like waiting until your back is against the wall, let's like make these corrections now. Like if you're one of our listeners and you're like, you know what, I'm kind of noticing that I'm falling into this. Instead of falling all the way down, let's, you know, correct that path, or what's a better word for correct? I don't know, but.
Well, I feel like Phyllis might have touched on it a little bit. She said awareness, and I feel like that's definitely the first step. I'll say it like this. One thing that I've noticed with people, for me, life coaching and, you know, talking to multiple people all around the world, is I noticed that some of them have complexes they are not aware of. And these complexes develop from at a very young age, whether it's your siblings, your peers, your parents, your job, your career, your boss, like whatever. There's so many different things that come into these complexes, and these complexes can continue to build and they stack up on top of each other. And it gets to the point where one day you're like, man, like nothing's working out for me. Like, you know, like I feel like every road I take goes to a dead end, and you have to just kind of be aware to the point where it's like, all right, so I need to do something different. You know, how Albert Einstein says, you know, if you're doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity. So, you know, that at some point you have to be aware. You know, it's just one of those things where if you're not aware, it's gonna lead you down that slippery slope of not being fulfilled and not being happy, and then you wake up 55 years old and you don't know where the hell your life is. You know, so I don't want that for people. I want people to become aware, and that's what I feel like. That's one of the things that I do very well, is help people become aware so they can start to correct and start to, you know, work on themselves. And, you know, so yeah, I hope that answers or gives more feedback to that.
Yeah, like awareness without action creates nothing, but you got to have awareness first. Then it's the action, making the corrections. And then, you know, now we can see the fruit of what we're doing. And I know that you have an academy where you specialize in giving people tangible tools, right? Can you go into that a little bit for us? We want everyone to know about what you're doing.
Yes, definitely. Can I tag on something with that?
Yeah, of course. Do your thing.
So yeah, I have the game plan. I have what's called the game plan. We're doing live sessions on Instagram right now, where basically we're giving people tangible tools via live session to basically, what does your life look like at the end of the year? If you don't know, that's a sign that you are struggling, you are lost, you need more guidance. So I'm using the game plan. It's going to be an online course next year, but as of right now, it's something that where I'm giving free tangible tools on how we can work with. So like the first January, we were talking about planning and strategic planning in your foundation. And then the month 2 was mastering your routine, because that's important. What you do on a daily basis is how you produce results. And then we went into rebranding yourself. After all that, who are you becoming, right? And so then we went on to building a champion's mentality. And then this month we're talking about confirming your conviction. You have to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing on a daily basis. It's important. That's why I wear this t-shirt. I need to remind myself why I'm doing on a daily basis. And so the G.R.I.N.D Academy is going to be like the forefront for all nonprofit owners, people who are looking to start a nonprofit or already have a nonprofit idea, motivational figures, life coaches, fitness coaches, people in the realm of enhancing other people's lives. I want them to all come together so that we can continue to unite. And not only that I just understand that there's like a lot of nonprofits out there that act as lone wolves, and in order to have the biggest impact, you need to come together sometime. You got to put egos aside, leave all that at the door, come together, and you can really literally change the world. I'm not looking to change the world, but I feel like if there's ever a way to change the world, that is it. To come together as a a coalition, an alliance, a regime, however you want to call it, a tribe, that's what it takes to really get forward movement on things that you're struggling with as a lone wolf nonprofit or a lone wolf motivational figure. So yeah.
There we go.
Awesome. Wow. Man, that's going to be huge. And I feel that what you're doing is so powerful. Now, so tell us, oh yeah, you're so welcome. So tell us now, you have your game plan, that's a course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Going to be online course, yep.
And then you have your book. Could you tell us a little bit just about the book and book? So, I got a little glimpse of your book, so I feel pretty excited about that. But, someone else thinking, what, if they're listening and they're like, what, I may consider his book, but what is it that someone can walk away with after reading your book?
I got you. Thank you so much for allowing me this platform to speak about it on. I do feel like this book is going to touch many lives. I definitely put the work into it, and honestly, I feel like some of the words in that book did not come from me. I feel like there was, a higher source up there that was dropping these, gems out there. But basically, this book, it's a transformational book that gives people a guideline to get to happiness and true fulfillment. And I believe there's an actual equation. I don't know where this equation came from. It just dawned upon me one day that mind plus body plus spirit equals true fulfillment and happiness. And that equation is kind of how that book is set up. And through all these, every chapter is, based around a motivational figure. Rochelle's in the book. Her story is in there. And thank you so much for that, Queen. I appreciate you so much for that. Because like I said, it's the power of testimony. So, it gives my life experiences and things that I went through and how I handled them, I guess, the things that I learned from them. And there's even a story, like a little, kind of like almost a kid's story. It's an intense kid's story.
Yes.
But yeah, there's just different tools for people to get out of that. So I was basically looking to touch people on so many different levels, visual. It's going to be an audiobook too. So on so many different levels, I wanted to tweak people's minds to not only understand this is a process. It's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it if you're willing to go through. And there's different exercises in there to do as well, so that people are really walking away with something. After you read that book, you will have a better understanding on how to control your life, how to deal with certain things, and most importantly, how to find true fulfillment and happiness.
Amen.
Because at the end of the day, I really feel that that's what matters most.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So just to wrap up, Lionheart, is there anything else that you want to share with the viewers? So that you want to add? Anything at all?
Man, thank you for having me come onto this podcast. And if I had to add anything, I would say this to everyone who watches this podcast: people like Rochelle and Phyllis and everyone else that is in the circle of motivation and realm and inspiration and all these different things. You have to understand it's just a process. You just have to trust it and understand that if you don't quit, you will get everything that you came for. You will get to that next level as long as you don't quit. Even at the darkest of days, life is all about ups and downs.
Yes.
Ups and downs, right? And it's after you understand that, things will get better. things will always get better, but it's your stamina that you have and what you endure that makes you want to keep going. And you have to have your why. Your why needs to be strong enough so that you keep going even at those darkest days, even when you don't feel like it. And at some point, things become sacred to you where it's almost like you have to, you know, you're obligated because you value your growth that much, you know, and that's where I'm at with it. So, yeah, if I could leave the crowd, the audience with anything, it's definitely that.
He gave us like a whole nother book. It's like, let's dive into that.
Oh my gosh. And Lionheart, you know, that's amazing what you just shared, because that pretty much surrounds our mission with Fit for the Soul. Right. You know, you are your better version. You're at the best you can be right now. You're sharing your story. You're impacting. I mean, you're getting there. You know, we always have more growth to get to, but you know, there comes a certain point where you're like, you know what, I feel that I can share my story because I'm empowered. My story has gotten me here, and being appreciative of that. What's Fit for the Soul, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have you, is our mission. Again, you know what, educating, influencing, inspiring people to become their best self and share their story just like you did. And I'm just so excited to see what else is ahead with you. I feel like you're just gonna blow up. And
thank you, Queen. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and continue to impact as many people as possible.
Most def. That's what it's about right there. And you guys, you queens, are doing the exact same work, and I appreciate you on so many different levels. Thank you so much for welcoming me on to the Fitness for the Soul, or Fit for the Soul podcast. Thank you so much. And I'll say it like this. Thank you. Let's continue to grind with all our hearts. You know, that's what it's about right there. We're always going to be a work in progress, always. You know, and that's what's exciting. I don't ever have to be perfect. Thank God. Like, you know?
Exactly.
Yes.
We're all striving for it. And don't forget, Lionheart has shirts too. I'm a walking marketing machine. So
I appreciate that.
So he
I
has
hope you like that.
All of his information is going to be in the description, so check him out. You'll learn about his shirts, his books, where you can find him on Instagram. You can go stalk him everywhere on every platform.
Please do. I invite you. Please do.
Yes. So you're a blessing, Lionheart. This was fun, everyone. Make sure to like and comment and share your thoughts. And we just want you all to know that you guys are blessings to the world too. So please feel free to share your story with us. We want to hear it, and your story inspires others. All right.
I love it. Woo! I love it.
Ooh.
All right.
Ready?
Woo! Yo.
Woo!
Oh, man. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
I got excited.
It's okay. It's cool. Ready? When you guys are ready, let's go. Ready?
I was ready, though. I was ready. All right. So we're all going to come on, say hi, and then I'll just go, okay.
Okay.
Right, cool.
Ready, set.
Woo! Yes. So, look, if you guys have not done so already, please go hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell as well so you get the notification for this YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Queen and King, for having me on the Fit for Soul podcast. You guys can find out more about me at lionheartlaquinn.com. You can Google me. However you want to support it, if you want to grab a t-shirt, it's on the website as well, too. Please look out for the G.R.I.N.D Academy, the game plan, online course coming next year in 2020, as well as my book, Inspire, the 7-Figure Grind. Do not miss that. That is the gem that you are going to want on your shelf, in your book, in your back pocket, wherever. Make sure you go get it. And I appreciate you guys so much for having me on. This is the YouTube channel you want to subscribe to, not anyone else. I'm just saying, this is it. This is it. Hit that button right now.
Woo woo.
Woo woo.